it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to the Sophomore Drome. 2 albums go in, but only one will come out. This week, we have got 2 of English folk bands, the finest English folk bands, Fairport Convention and Steeleye Span. As usual, the band that released first goes first, and in this case it's Fairport Convention. Great English folk band formed in 1967 by guitarist Richard Thompson and Simon Nicol, bassist Ashley Hutchins, drummer Sean Frater. They were influenced by American folk rock such as Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell, and they earned themselves the British Jefferson Airplane. Julie Dibble and Ian Matthews, Sandy Denny, and the rest is history. Fine band. Now their sophomore album was What We Did on Our Holidays, and it was released in January of 1969, and it was their first album to feature Sandy Denny. So who plays on here? Well, we got Sandy Denny, but on the credits he goes down as Alexander Elaine McLean Denny. Ian Matthews, who spells his name just like me, on vocals and congas. Richard Thompson on guitars. Ashley Hutchins on bass. Now remember that name. Simon Nicol on guitars. Martin Lamble drums. Bruce Lacey and his robots on Mr. Lacey. Claire Lowther cello. Kingsley Abbott on coins. And backing vocals also done by Paul Gosh, Andrew Horchfitch and Mark Ellington, and the harmonica Peter Ross. Okay, this album opens up with a classic, Fothering Hay. Oh, one of my favourite songs by Fairport Convention. Beautifully sung, of course. Lovely guitars. I really like this track. It is absolutely banging. Then we get Mr. Lacey, a brilliant good old blues rocker. The guitar work is absolutely fab on this. It's just another good song. Then we have Book Song. It's a very gentle song, some lovely harmony voices from Sandy on here. Everyone else just sort of backs up Sandy. It's absolutely brilliant. Then we have The Lord Is in This Place. How Dreadful Is This Place, which is based on Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground by Willie Johnson. It's not my favourite track on the album. I think it's a little bit disjointed, but it still deserves to be on the album. No Man's Land, one of those folk songs that you can sit round singing around the fire or an open mic night. It's one of them songs that really gets you going. Then they do a Bob Dylan song, I'll Keep It With Mine. Great version of this song. Sandy sings it brilliantly. So on to side 2, we've got Eastern Rain, a great song from Joni Mitchell. And Sandy gives it justice. Then we have Nottingham Town. It's a traditional folk song, but the Fairport Convention give it their little twist, and it's a great version. Quite a few people do this. A Tale in Hard Time. Some great guitar bits on here, and it's got a great bass line on this from Ashley Hutchins. Really good. Also we've got She Moves Through the Fair, another traditional folk song. I love it when bands like these and Steeleye Span all do these traditional folk songs and give it a little bit more of their spin on it. Great version of it. Meet on the Ledge, beautiful harmonies led by Sandy. And the last track, End of a Holiday. The guitar work on this, it's a lovely vocal from Sandy. Classic album from Fairport Convention as far as I'm going to say. I'm not going to go too much into detail because I shall be later in the year be ranking the whole of the Fairport Convention catalogue, but I do like this album. It's not upon what I say. Let's see what critics say. So our first one is my favourite American critic, Robert Christgau. And he actually said he deemed Fairport Convention the most interesting unknown group. He had listened in the same time, highlighting their pentangle style ballads and Bob Dylan's. Reviewing in 2008, Pitchfork said the album mixes the new interpretations of traditional ballads like Nottingham Town and has rendered as a ragga when with much newer songs such as the soulful I'll Keep It In. So yeah, there's even Briscoe liked it. So we'll have a look at the. It didn't chart. It didn't get in the charts, unfortunately, but AllMusic gave it a 4.5 stars. Encyclopedia of Popular Music gave it 5 stars. Pitchfork gave it 8.8. Rolling Stone was favourable. And the Village Voice, Richard Christgau, give it an A-. Lordy Lord. Anyway, let's see what the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality on this is brilliant. They've took some great old traditional folk songs and jazzed them up. So I shall give that a 4 out of 5. Production. Great production on it. I like folk albums like this because it's just plug in, go, no fancy stuff. Because these are great musicians and the singing on it's fantastic and they got the balance just right. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Reception. Although it didn't get in the album charts, everyone has written favourably at it, and I do know this is a favourite of most people, so I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Album cover. I always think this is a really interesting cover. I mean, it's obviously looks like it's been done on a chalk, and it's got little things that they did on the holiday, you know. And you got the band there and the pub and exploding a taxi. So I think it's a really catchy little cover. So I'm going to give that a 4. So it's all the 4s today for what we did on our holidays, which gives us a total of 16 out of 20. So our next contender is Steeleye Span. Formed in 1969 after Ashley Hutchins, previously a Fairport Convention, left the band, and he joined up with Tim Hart and Maddie Pryor. Very successful. Their repertoire is a lot of instrumental jigs and traditional songs. And their second album, released in 1971, is Pleased to See the King. On here we've got the wonderful Maddie Pryor on vocals, spoons, tabor and tambourine. Tim Hart, the wonderful vocals of Tim Hart on this, and dulcimer and guitar. Peter Knight, violins, mandolins. Ashley Hutchins on the bass and vocals, and Martin Carthy on vocals, guitar and banjo. First track on here is one of my favourite tracks by Steeleye Span, and it is The Blacksmith. It may be very simply put together with some nice mandolin thrown in, but it just great. I just love this song. It's the second time this song appears on a album, because I think it's on the it's on the debut as well. Cold Hailey Windy Night. Love this track. The bass line from Ashley is a fine folk bass player. Really good. And you've got that lovely combination of Tim and Maddie. Brilliant song. And then we get two great jigs. Brian O'Lynn and the Hag with the Money. I love this sort of thing. It just, I don't know, I just love, reminds me of going to country Irish nights and in pubs, and they're always a bit of fun. You know, there's some lovely banjo on there for Martin. Excellent. Really love that. Then we have another of my favourite tracks, Prince Charlie Stewart. We've got that real Celtic feel. Them riffs on the guitar are really good. Great vocals ever from Maddie, and another great bass line from Ashley. Boys of Bedlam, that's a very Celtic folk song with some lovely banjo in it. It's brilliant. False Night on the Road, a great vocal. The guitar and banjos always sound great. The Lark in the Morning, some lovely playing on here. On the violin, mandolins, and from Peter, brilliant track. The Female Drummer, this is my favourite track on this album. It's a combination of a traditional folk and English folk with a little bit of that Irish Celtic brought in. It's a fantastic vocal from Maddie. The King, one of their great cappella songs, very short. You know, I love that I like it all sing on this without it. I've seen them do stuff live, brilliant. And the last track is Lovely on the Water, another fine vocal from Maddie. The guitars and banjo again working so well, and it's a really good track to end the album. It's a very good album. It's, you know, they were starting to really get that sound that everyone sort of associated with this band. So that's what I think. I think it's a terrific album. So what did the press think? So there's not been much written about it, but Melody Maker, Colin Irwin, said that made this its folk album of the year, and in it. And Colin Irwin describes it in his book, In Search of Albion, as one of his favourite folk rock albums. It actually did all right in the charts. There's not many things been written about it. As I said, it got to number 45 in the album chart. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality, once again, great songs, wonderfully played. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Production, the reduction on this is fantastic. It's got the bass, the really Ashley Hutchins bass really sounds great. It sort of leads these songs. So I've got to give that a 5 out of 5. Reception, a folk album getting in the charts in the UK in 1971 is brilliant. People have always spoken highly of this. It was Melody Maker's album of the year, so I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Album cover, I think they could have done a little bit better. I like the idea of the Hessian back, but I think Pleased to See the King, Steeleye Span should have been more brighter, a bit more vibrant, because you just lose it in there. So I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. So that gives us a grand total of Pleased to See the King, Steeleye Span, a total of 16. We have a draw. I knew this was always going to be a tough one, because this was suggested by Terry Wilson, one of the people that watches this live stream, and when he said it, I thought, oh, this is going to be tough. And believe me, it is tough, because I love both albums, and it really came down to it in the end about production. I listened to both albums under the headphones in the dark. Now, that you may find that bizarre, but I wanted to get involved. And when it came down to it, the production on the Steeleye Span album just edges it today. And it's painfully to say that it's the winner, because I love both albums. So today's winner for me is Steeleye Span. It's up to you guys now. The poll is up in the posts on the page, and there'll be the poll in the live stream tonight. Now we won't know the result for this for a fortnight because next Thursday I'm not about, so it'll be a fortnight, but we'll keep an eye on things. So there we go. This one's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be very close. Okay, coming up next we have Pick and Mix, and we're going to have a trip down memory lane this week, and it's the UK Top 10 for 1960 on the 12th of June. So join me for that. Bye for now.